You have 6 browser tabs open about different subjects, a half-finished novel in one folder, code tutorials in another, paint supplies you bought 3 months ago, and someone just asked you again, but what do you actually do? You feel the shame rising, the voice that says you're scattered, unfocused, afraid of commitment, that if you were serious about anything, you'd pick one thing and master it. But what if that voice is wrong? What if your multiplicity isn't a bug, it's a feature of something profound happening inside you?
Abraham Maslow studied the highest functioning people he could find, artists, scientists, leaders, and he noticed something the world tends to miss. The people at the top of his pyramid, the self-actualizers, rarely fit into neat boxes. They were poets who studied physics, psychologists who painted, scientists who wrote philosophy. Their interests sprawled across domains in ways that confused everyone around them. And Maslow realized this wasn't distraction, this was wholeness. Let's start at the bottom of the pyramid, where most of us live most of the time. Down here, in the realm of deficiency needs, specialization isn't a choice, it's survival. When you're worried about paying rent, you don't have the luxury of exploring medieval history for fun. When you're desperate for belonging, you conform to one clear identity, so people understand you. When you're building esteem, you need to be the best at something specific, because pretty good at 7 things doesn't win awards. Deficiency needs force focus. They narrow you. And this makes evolutionary sense. Our ancestors who scattered their attention got eaten. The ones who focused on immediate threats, on mastering one survival skill, on fitting into the tribe, they lived. So we're raised in a world that worships specialization. Pick a major, choose a career, find your niche, build your brand. Be one thing, be it well, and don't confuse people. This works fine when you're climbing the lower levels of the pyramid. But something strange happens when you start satisfying those deficiency needs. You stop asking what will keep me safe, and start asking, what am I curious about? You stop asking what will make people accept me, and start asking what feels authentic. You stop asking what will prove I'm enough, and start asking what expresses who I actually am. And the answer is rarely one thing. Maslow called this shift moving from demotivation to be-motivation, from deficiency to being. And here's what he observed. Self-actualizers operate from what he called the whole person. They don't fragment themselves into socially acceptable categories. They don't suppress curiosity because it's not on brand. They follow what he called the inner voice, which doesn't speak in resume bullet points. That voice says, I want to understand how plants grow and also write music and also learn carpentry and also study the stars. Not because these things build toward one career, but because they're all expressions of being fully alive. The world calls this unfocused. Maslow called it integration. Think about children before we train the curiosity out of them. They want to know everything. They're fascinated by dinosaurs and ballet and how toilets work and what makes people laugh. They haven't learned yet that they're supposed to pick one identity and stick to it. Self-actualizers recover this, not naively, but consciously. They've done the focused work the world required. They've built competence. They've met their survival needs. And now they're free to explore what Maslow called being values. Truth, beauty, justice, playfulness, wholeness. These values don't live in one discipline. They're woven through everything. You can't understand truth by only studying science. You can't grasp beauty by only making art. You can't pursue justice by only learning law. The biggest questions require multiple perspectives, multiple languages, multiple ways of knowing. Maslow noticed that self-actualizers had what he called creative perception. They saw connections others missed because they weren't trapped in specialized silos. The physicist who understood music could think about waves differently. The programmer who studied philosophy could see ethical implications in code. Their multiplicity wasn't distraction, it was synergy. But here's the painful part. The world doesn't reward this, especially early on. Job applications ask for your core competency. Dating profiles ask you to describe yourself in 3 words. Social media demands a consistent brand. And if you say, I'm interested in neuroscience and poetry and urban design and meditation, people get uncomfortable. They can't categorize you. And what we can't categorize, we dismiss. This is what Maslow called the Jonah Complex. The fear of our own greatness. The way we shrink ourselves to fit containers that are too small. We accept the label of unfocused because claiming our full multiplicity feels arrogant, unrealistic, too much. But what if it's not too much? What if it's exactly right? Self-actualization isn't about being good at everything. It's about expressing your authentic self without apology. And for some people, that self is genuinely multidimensional. You're not avoiding depth by exploring breadth. You're finding your kind of depth, which happens to be horizontal as well as vertical. The Renaissance existed because some humans refused to accept false boundaries between art and science, between body and mind, between reason and imagination. Da Vinci didn't choose between painting and engineering. He chose both because both were true to him. That same impulse lives in you. So what do you do with this? How do you function in a world built for specialists? First, stop apologizing. Your curiosity isn't a character flaw. It's a sign that you've transcended deficiency thinking. You're not frantically searching for the one thing that will finally make you enough. You're exploring because you already are enough. Second, find the thread. Your interests aren't random. There's a deeper pattern, a core question you're circling through different languages. Maybe everything you explore is really about understanding connection, or freedom, or beauty, or how things transform. Name that thread. It's your through line. Third, give yourself permission to integrate slowly. You don't need to monetize every interest or become world-class at all of them. Some things can just feed your soul. Some combinations will take years to reveal their synergy. Trust the process Maslow trusted, the process of becoming whole. You're not unfocused. You're not scattered. You're not afraid of commitment. You're committed to something the world doesn't have a clean word for yet. You're committed to your fullest expression, and that expression is vast. Welcome to the top of the pyramid, where the view includes everything.